You guys, I am grinning from mouth to ear. Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chinyere of Gillette Style Glam. If this is your first time here with me, thank you so much for being here. And if you are subscribed to this wonderful, amazing family, you are absolutely welcome. It's good to see you guys once again. Right. So, Monique, I told you guys I had front seats, and I'm not lying. I did have front seats. I was on that premiere, hey, God. And so we're going to be talking about Monique and Oprah. You know, and you see, the thing is, there were so many things Monique said today that you're going to be able to link to the video I made previously. And I'm going to link it here. All right. So we're in for a long one. You see, I'm going to start with this. It is very sad. It is extremely sad that as Black people, and this is not just in America, I'm saying everywhere in the world, as Black people, we hate each other. Before I continue, you remember you people, I am Nigerian. So, we won. AFCON, we won. All right? Okay. South Africa. Or plus, after that Grammy win, yes, I'm satisfied. Okay, let's go back. But yeah, this is a very big shout out to the Super Eagles as well of Nigeria. They did amazing. They did phenomenal. I nearly screamed myself hoarse yesterday because I was watching the premiere started at the same time the Nigerians, the Super Eagles, and the Bafana match was going on. It was crazy. I nearly had a crisis yesterday because I am asthmatic as well. I nearly went into a crisis yesterday. Thankfully, my husband was around. So, yeah. So, back to the story at hand. Monique and what she said about Oprah. And I want to say this, that it's quite sad. And I said this in the other video as well, that we as Black people, we have a problem. We have a problem with being able to see and wish our brother well, our sisters well. We have a problem with uplifting each other. You see, I speak a lot about racism in France. I want to recall, I want to tell you guys something I learned very quickly in France. When I first came to this country, because one of the things I noticed was that most Black people, if you were looking into those who were doing, tertiary jobs, you don't see a lot of Black people. Where you see a lot of Black people working are in jobs that were either in the cleaning or, janitor, things like that. And I was like, why is this happening? And I recall when I started my parcours, my professional parcours here, I recall I went to the employment agency that is called Pôle Emploi. Today it's called France Connect, France Travail. That's what they call it, France Travail. That's what it's called now. But everyone still refers to it as Pôle Emploi. Nothing has changed. And I recall, and I spoke to the woman, and she was proposing that I should do, I should either be a cleaner and blah, blah, blah. And I started laughing. And she said, why are you laughing? I told her, I said, Madam, I am a graduate. I have a degree in economics. Why would you look at me and decide that I should be a cleaner? I mean, with the experience I have coming from Nigeria. And she goes on and on about how my diploma is not accepted in France and yada, yada, yada. And then even if I wanted my diploma to be accepted in France, it's not more than a bac plus deux. Now, a bac plus deux is like a high school diploma. And that's not what I have. I don't have a high school diploma. Oh gosh, that is another story. I think I'm going to actually tell you guys that story at some point. And I will never forget what she said. It's something that had never left my head because it's ingrained in their blood. And she told me, and she said, Les Français pensent d'abord à ceux qui viennent de leur ventre. That means that French people think first about their own children, the one that came from them. That was the first thing she said. So that meant whether you're, and which is something that I have seen, ask any immigrant in France. As long as you may be more qualified than a French person, but as long as you're a black person and you're not getting that job, they would give it to their own French people. That's a point blank period. That's how it works. And so I say this to say, and to go back to the previous video when I said that if we always remember that when we do things as a community for each other, we grow, we lift each other up. So that's the first thing I'm going to attack here. Now, again, let's recall that Monique has said the same thing over and over again for years, over a decade now, about the issue she has with Oprah.
Exact same way about you.
How could she? How could she? What have I taken from Oprah? When did I have Oprah's mother and father on my show? Mm-hmm. When did I have anybody come and speak about Oprah Winfrey on the Monique show? That's never happened. So how could she feel that way?
Would you have done that?
Had her family on?
Yeah.
Let me tell you how we operate. When we had the Monique show, there was a comedian on there. Mm-hmm. And he was trying to joke T.I.'s wife, Tiny. Mm-hmm. My husband walked out in the middle of his set. He said, cut. He said, brother, we don't do that here. We uplift our folks. Mm-hmm. We don't play that. So no, I would not have done that. When Oprah Winfrey had my family, and I'll tell y'all, and I'm looking around, baby, because there are people here.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't want to be rude to the people at Shay Shay's club. You got other people in the club, mm-hmm. right? When Oprah Winfrey called me up, and she said, I got a call from your brother. And this is after I won the Oscar award, mm-hmm. right? And your brother wants to come on the show, and he wants to apologize to you for molesting you. And he wants to tell other people how to look out for a predator.
Right.
I said, Oprah, I said, I don't want anything to do with that cat. I said, and then she said, well, if you want me to scratch the show, I will scratch it. I said, sis, don't scratch it because he could be a different person. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get in the way if that cat is a different person. I just don't want no parts of it.
Right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. When I hung up that phone, Shannon, I was like, I appreciate that sister. Like, she didn't have to call me.
She didn't.
She didn't have to call me and say, I'm going to have your brother.
Right.
I start seeing commercials with my mother and my father and my other brother who used to be my manager, mm-hmm. who knew the fear that I had with the brother that was up on stage, right? Mm-hmm. We never talked about my mother being there.
She never told you that.
You know how you feel about your grandparents?
Yes, absolutely.
You know the honor and how you speak about them? Mm-hmm. Imagine you then seeing your granddaddy and your grandmama on a show, and they're talking about somebody that violated you, and that woman didn't tell you that they were going to be there. How would you feel?
I would feel like you felt betrayed.
That is exactly how I felt and how I feel. And it's not, no, I understand it. But you betrayed me, sister. And I'm not the only one.
Because at the time when she called you, she said it was just your brother.
Just my brother. And when my mother was on that show, do you know what I had to deal with, Shannon?
What's that?
I would be in the store, and I would have elderly women coming up to me, and they would say, your mama ain't shit.
Wow.
Now, they wasn't lying, Shannon, okay? They wasn't lying, baby. Sometimes you got to let the truth be the goddamn truth. Sometimes you got to just go with it. But still, it's my mother.
It's your mom.
And I'm in here, and because when she went, I'm having to defend something. And I got that often with them telling me what my mother wasn't, because you did not tell me. Had Oprah Winfrey said, I'm going to have your mama, I'd have said, shut that shit down. I don't need nobody seeing my mama be greedy. I don't need the world seeing. Shut it down. Now, there's a white woman named Barbara Walters. Mm-hmm. They called her first. And she said, Monique, I told your family, I can't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you. You just won that award. Like,
Yeah.
why would I do that?
Yeah, you're here. Why would I bring something that I know that you don't want to talk about? You lived it. Why do I need to replay it again?
Ask her. Your camera right there.
I was trying to.
I know, baby, but ask her. See, this is where it get juicy, right?
Yeah.
Because you're saying the right things, but you're asking me questions that I can't answer.
Right.
I can't answer why Oprah Winfrey did what Oprah Winfrey did.
Yeah.
Only Oprah Winfrey can answer for her actions.
Yes.
So again, stop being scared.
No,
I knew that would get him, Mary. I knew that.
Barbara Walters spoke to Monique about this issue and told her and said, I can do this. For your sake, I can't. You see, money. My husband, there's something that he says, it's an Igbo proverb, which goes, Ihe fataraneze ade juafo. Literal translation is that what you pick out of your teeth can never fill your belly. In a nutshell, the pennies cannot do much for you. Because what pennies that you pick up do for you is that they make you lose your respect. You lose your integrity, you lose your person, you lose yourself.
Monique's story has never changed. And you see, at this point, and listen, I'm one of these people, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to tell this to you all. Be careful the people you put be careful of the people you put yourselves to. Be careful of those whom you even call mentors. Be careful of those whom you feel have a lot to give you. Meanwhile, they have nothing to give you, and all they have is they're taking away from you. Be very careful, because the Bible says that be very wary of those of good orators. It's in the Bible. I will not forget when I heard this. Be careful whom you give your spirit to. You see, that's why anything that moves in the name of church, this is how I am. I look, I watch, I study. Be careful those whom you call mentors. Be careful those whom you say you look up to. Be careful. Because what you do indirectly is that you give them yourself, your soul, your spirit, without knowing that you're doing that. And there is a significance to it, because when the Bible in the Old Testament, when it talks about when the Israelites gathered, to listen to the word, to the scriptures that they always looked up. There is a significance to looking up. That is why when you go to churches, the pulpit is high, the people are down. It means something. What it's saying is that at this point, I have given myself to the word. Now, the word comes through someone to you. Many of us are very, very, very lost in the someone and the word, and not the word. Many of us are lost in the someone and not the word. Because when you are lost in the someone, even when that person is saying crap, you are biting, you are swallowing it hook, line, and sinker. Because you have taken someone's own speech and forgotten the word. Be careful. And I say this to say that if you are one of those people, sit down with yourself and ask yourself those questions. You see, learning that I can learn from anybody, poor, rich, billionaire, whatever, has helped me a lot in my life. Knowing that anybody can be a teacher to me has helped me a lot. Be careful. Oprah spoke to Monique's family. You see, it's terrible. She spoke to Monique, told Monique this and that and that and that. only for her to go and do otherwise. Many of us as Black people, we are like this. It's not a lie. We're like this. We say one thing and do another. Many of us are like this. I have been in a situation where, and this is me personally, I always tell people, I can never say yes to something that I am not sure about. I can never. This is me personally. I can never ever give you my word. I would rather not give you my word and do that thing for you than give you my word and not do it. This is my principle. I would rather not give you my word and do that thing for you than give you my word, because then I hold myself, I now begin to feel and hold myself responsible. The betrayal this woman called Oprah has given to Monique. And you know, I said it in the other video. I said, when you said you have apologized to her, who heard it? Monique has come out and said it. Where? You see, when you give someone an apology and said, if I, forget that apology. That's not an apology. Because I've seen that thing somewhere. If I, who are you? You see, I want people to always understand something. Okwefo, the day you realize that every human being like this, whether you're a billionaire or whatever, that all of us, it get where you go rich, your billionaire status has nothing. And where will that be? Your respect, your discipline, your principles, and how to take accountability. You see these 4 things. When you lose them, be you a millionaire, be you a billionaire, be you whatever, it's gone.
What could I possibly owe you an apology for when you've admitted? See, when Lee Daniels says to me, because Cookie from the show Empire, I was offered that role. Now Taraji tore it up, baby. Listen here. However, I was offered that. Then Felita called me back and say, baby girl, they said you're too difficult to work with. But you hear on the audio that a man told David Talbert I was difficult to work with. Do you see how that cost my family?
Yes.
And with no accountability, because, it's the great Tyler Perry. No, you've got to be accountable for that. Oprah Winfrey, you've got to be accountable for the things you've done with my family. You've got to be accountable for that.
Is there any relationship between you and Tyler and you and Oprah currently?
No.
Leonard Trump, see Trump now. Is anybody listening to him anymore? He still does what he does. There are still some people who are still there, but the same people who are in front of him still will go and do something different thing behind him. At the end of the day, many of them who are around him are probably just because he is a bully, and they feel that he can bully his way in and out of stuff. But at the Supreme Court, at the Court of Justice, he's being wiped. No one is listening to him. Let me repeat: your principles, respect, self-respect, discipline. You see, what's the last one I called? This self-respect, discipline, accountability, and principles. These 4 things. When you don't have any, if you like, be a billionaire. You are not going nowhere. You are going where? Nowhere. Yes. If you have no principles, let me give you an example of principles. Let me just give you an example. My husband. I met my husband. When I talk about my husband, I talk about my husband. You see the way Monique talks about her husband? That is exactly how I take my husband. When I met my husband, then, like I said, I met my husband, we were friends. Like, hey, what's up? We were friends. My husband was actually seeing someone. One thing I noticed, like I said, I don't like cooking. So my husband noticed that I don't cook. She doesn't go into the kitchen. And I never offered. And he never complained. He never asked. But I noticed that this man he cooked. He would cook and he would prepare and he would say, food is ready, come and eat. My husband kept doing this. My husband did not know I could cook. He always saw me, I would do my nails, because this is something I always, every weekend I had my nail polish, I would do my nails, I would do my hair, I'll primp. That was my weekend is about me. And so one day I noticed, there was no food. And, I was like, okay, let's go to a restaurant and have something to eat, then probably when we go home, then you can cook. My husband said, no. I'm like, why? He said, no, I don't eat outside. I said, okay. Now I understand why he cooks. Till today, my husband does not eat outside. And if you hear his reasons, you will laugh. It's valid, My husband does not eat outside. He doesn't eat out. No matter the kind of restaurant, if you like, be a 10-star restaurant, my husband will not eat there. Principles and discipline. Understanding. That's why when I see people men who open their mouth and say, all men cheat, I'm like, I beg. Automatically, if I was looking at you like this before, you have come down like this, because at the end of the day, not in your belly. And when you're not gonna have empty. These 4 things. Respect. And what will give you respect? You may ask. Accountability. Say the truth at all times. Whether you're going to be punished for it or not, say the truth. This is something that I learned over time. I did, as kids, when you're growing up, you could do something like, who did this? You like, no. One day, it was my dad who called me and said, my daughter, come. I know you. I know you. He said, let me just tell you anyway. You are allowed to lie for now. My father told me, he said, you're allowed to lie for now. He said, but there comes a time in your life where those lies will not fly. He said, you know why? He said, because you will not be able to cover up that lie. And when you do that, the respect people have for you for not being able to be accountable for your actions will go.
Behind your back. So if you telling me what a great person I am in my face, but you telling me I'm dog poop behind my back, what good is that, Mo?
What does that make those kind of people, Shannon? What does it make those kind of
cowardly.
people? That is cowardly. See, here's what's this. When we have our juggernauts, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, these are our juggernauts of our community. These are the people that our babies say, when I grow up, I want to be that. Yes. I want to be like that. So we have to call those people to the mat and say, listen, what are you teaching our babies? You're feeding poison because you're showing them your private jet. I'm going to show you my mansion. I'm going to show you my fancy cars, but my character is shot and I'm bankrupt. I got a lot of money in my bank. It's more zeros than some of them than we can imagine. But their character, they are bankrupt. Those are bankrupt people. So everybody that Kat sat right here and told you about, I can't wait to see your next interviews with those people.
So for those of you who still carry Oprah on a pedestal, start reflecting. Somebody being a billionaire or a millionaire or whatever is not a yardstick to carry and give them And I want to ask a question. All these movie roles Oprah keeps picking up from here and there. Doesn't she have enough money as it is? She owns own network. She has her talk show. She has this. She has 1,000,001 things. Why are you taking from the mouth of those who are looking to make their lives better?
Now we get ready to go back on the air. We having fun, right? He said, but I watched Oprah. He said, and I watched her almost turn in her seat like they screaming her name. Now, some people will say, oh, Monique, you're reaching. Well, let me tell you what then happens. The movie The Butler, that movie was offered to me. Lee Daniels came out and said, I did offer Monique the butler. But as he said to me, he said, Mo, at the time I didn't have no power and I didn't have no money. So when Oprah said she wanted it, so who played the lead role in The Butler? Oprah Winfrey. Lee Daniels was getting ready to do a biopic on Richard Pryor, and he offered me the grandmother. Who then calls Lee Daniels and says, I want to be the grandmother. So as you're looking at me, it's the same way I'm looking at that sister. And I'm saying, why don't we sit down and have a conversation? Because the way things could look, it may not be that way, but just the way things look, Oprah. Just the way you would have my family on your show, Oprah.
Why? It's sad. If Oprah opened her mouth and she said it was Jerry Wells, and told him that she is not going to pay Monique a dime, it's sad. And I will say, remember, I said it in the other video. What will it profit you that it's all about you? What will it profit you? You already have money. What will it profit you that your own brother, because you are looking for those who will come and beg you. It's all you want. Beg you. Talk to you. Please, give me. That is what you want. For your own people to remain subservient to you. Forgetting where you came from. Forgetting how it started. Forgetting where you started. And up until the end of this podcast, Monique, I love her. She reminds me, my in-law, I remember before, he's late now, may he so rest in peace. He used to say a lot that, plus size women have no problem. And I never understood it. And he said it's true. He said most times they know they are plus size, they deal with it. He said in his opinion, he thinks that plus size women have more confidence than all of us that are lepa. He's Belgian. He was Belgian because he's late now. He was Belgian. But he knew a lot of Nigerian slangs. And it was always funny because he would say it. So all of you that are lepa, plus size women have no problem. Despite it all, she still was able to crack jokes about her sister. She still told her, I love you. She still told her, she even told her, I said, I know what you drink. You take vodka and cranberries. That's your favorite. She was still able to crack jokes about it. And she still said that you are the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. You see, it's usually when one is really angry, you always tend to want to take away from the person that you're angry with. You don't want to add. But she didn't do that. Okay? She didn't do that. She still gave you your flowers. She said, the day I saw, and she threw shade though. She threw shade at her big fit, fat ass. She threw shade, Monique, But she made her understand that you're the reason I'm here. You're the reason I wanted to be on television. And so many other people out there will tell you for one reason or the other that Oprah or whoever is the reason why they're here. I would say one thing, and this is where this video is going to end. We need to do better as Black people in a Black community. We need to do better. We need to show our love for each other by uplifting each other up, not tearing one another down. It absolutely makes no sense at all. It makes no sense. It doesn't benefit anyone. Nowhere. Okay? And when we look at this thing, I want to repeat it. Monique's story has not changed till date. It hasn't. So if anyone is looking for loopholes, look away. Baby girl has receipts. If you're looking for loopholes, look away. But she's got receipts. Are they going to come to Club Shay Shay? Nah. I am not sure. I cross my fingers for that to happen. But I'm not sure she will come. You see, when somebody feels that she's too big, when somebody feels that there is a level where she is, or they are, and who are these peasants talking to me? That is what happens. And so Monique wants accountability. Will Oprah give that accountability? I'm not sure. Monique is looking for Oprah to say sorry. Will she? Nah. But I predict Oprah will say sorry, but not now, but she will. And on this note, guys, thank you so much for being a part of my family. Do not fail to like, comment, subscribe, and push notifications so that every time I upload, you'll be the first to know. And do not fail to follow me on all my social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, what's the other one? X, Twitter. It's all Gillette Style Glam. X is Gillette Style. And I will see you guys in my next video.